Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla if you are new here, and in this video it's going to be a little bit different. I want to give a life update, a money update, and throw in a little bit of a Q&A at the end. Alright, I really don't know where to start. I've been wanting to make this video for like a month. Fair warning, it's probably going to be kind of long. I'm also going to be doing a Q&A at the end. This came from Instagram. I'm actually off Instagram now, but a few weeks ago I asked for financial questions to do a Q&A on. So we'll get to that in just a moment, but first I wanted to give an update on three main areas that are relevant to my finances. So that's going to be my career, my health, and my dog. And I think I'm going to go in that order, so I might as well just jump right into it and not waste time. So I am currently a microbiologist. I have a great job, honestly. It doesn't pay amazingly, but it's pretty decent. You guys see what I make. I don't get many benefits. I just have health insurance, dental, and vision. It's quite expensive, actually, and then I pay taxes on that health insurance. It's just kind of confusing. My income is unearned, so I don't have a 401k, definitely no match. I'm actually not really allowed to contribute to a Roth IRA with this income. That's why I don't do that much to my Roth IRA, because I have to use my side hustle income. And obviously this is related to what I studied in school. I have my bachelor's and master's degree in biology. However, I've never been passionate about science. Like, yes, it's very interesting, and sure, the stuff that I do is pretty cool, but it's just never had my heart. It's never had my full attention. I've never been excited about it or passionate about it. So for years, I've tried to pursue different things. And even at this job, before this job, I've tried to pursue different things, primarily like marketing or something in the tech field, I guess. And more recently, earlier this year, if you know me, then you know that I listen to the Choose FI podcast, and many of you probably listen to that as well. And from that podcast, I learned about a new career opportunity. Some of you were able to figure out what I've been trying to pursue. If you've been watching me, you know I was studying. I paid for this program that was like almost $2,000, and I took a couple of exams. Well, I failed the exam twice and had to take it a third time to finally pass it. And so many people have guessed, like CPA, financial advisor, nutritionist, dietitian, personal trainer, all these things, real estate agent, all really good guesses. Y'all know me really well, but nobody ever got it except for the people who listen to Choose FI and are probably pursuing the same thing because it's so intriguing. So what that is Salesforce. And this is I decided I wanted to just talk about it because it's going to make sense in just a moment. So I joined this program, the Talent Stacker program that Choose FI was promoting, and I joined it in March. I actually was going to join in January. I had enrolled in like the free 5-day thing that they offer. I can link it down below if y'all are interested because it is a really good program. I joined in March, and ever since then I've been studying Salesforce. Well, for several months I did. I'm still kind of studying it, but I'll talk about that. So I really thought things would move a lot quicker than they have. First of all, I thought I would pass my exam the first time around. I thought I would get a job in like 6 months, but it just didn't work that way for me. And a lot has changed since I started that. And I did choose to go with Salesforce. So basically I'm not going to explain what Salesforce is, but I am interested in becoming a Salesforce administrator. And so that doesn't mean I have to work for the company Salesforce. I can be a Salesforce administrator for any company who utilizes Salesforce. And so I would be implementing Salesforce for that company. So there's tons of companies that are out there that are hiring for Salesforce admins. The career field is increasing for this, so it's a very intriguing position to go towards. And I am actually quite interested in it. I went through like Trailhead and stuff. I went through all the things. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense, but I've been studying for quite some time. I've done a project in that program. I passed my exam. I've had a few interviews. Obviously I didn't get those jobs. But yeah, so that was my plan, was to switch from microbiology to a Salesforce administrator, hopefully this year. Now, March, which is when I signed up for the Salesforce program, Talent Stacker, is when things started going downhill with my health. So had I known the things that would happen with my health, I probably wouldn't have enrolled in this program, so I could have kept that $2,000 and save the money on those like certification exams and the coaching and such, because ever since March, things have kind of just gotten worse. So I have kind of paused on Salesforce. I sometimes work on, like, I study the material and stuff, work through the modules, but I am very apprehensive now about switching careers, and that is because of my health. And it's extremely frustrating because it almost feels like a barrier. It feels like it's stopping me from moving on with my life. It feels like my health is stopping me from doing that. And so I've just kind of been afraid of going forward. I have more recently begun applying again for different positions, but I almost feel like I'm sabotaging myself. Like, oh, I won't get that, or I kind of am hoping that I don't get a position because I'm just so afraid of changing because of my health issues. Currently, my job it's been busier. I'm off today, which is nice. It's Veterans Day. But I, for the most part, have been going to work every single day. It's been a lot busier. However, I don't have to stay at work the whole entire day. Like, my job is pretty chill. I work in a lab. I'm currently doing COVID research, and I do my work, and within a few hours, I'm basically done. I come home. I can work on the computer if I need to, but it's a very chill job. I have a lot of flexibility when it comes to time off. Any time off I need is okay. If I need to go to an appointment, which I go to tons of appointments right now because of everything, I can do that. It's no problem. It's not going to disrupt anybody. And my health insurance is also really good coverage. So I guess I'll transition more into my health. So in March, things started getting bad. In April, I had my first surgery. I talk about this all in detail on my other YouTube channel if you want to watch. It's honestly like TMI. It was really embarrassing at first, but now I don't really care because it's a part of my life. This happened, and I actually want to be, I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to find a purpose behind this. Like, why is this happening to me? And I ask that a lot. And I guess, like, I am trying to be there for other people. Like, eventually I want to talk about this as like a dedicated video on my other channel, and, you know, everything that I experienced, so that I can be there for other people going through the same thing, because this has honestly been the worst year of my life. And anything emotional I've experienced before this, like, nothing tops this physical problem that I've been going to. The pain I've experienced, the mental aspect of it because of the pain I experienced, and the disruption in my life, the change in my life. I can't even express to you how bad this has been in my life. And yeah, so I am very open about this because I do hope that I can help somebody else in the future. It's also helpful for me to talk about it because there's other people going through it, and then it allows them to open up, and I hear from other people who also have this condition, and it just makes me feel less alone, which honestly, when you're going through something like this, is very, it brings a lot of peace and hope. So I apologize. This video is going to be kind of all over the place. But anyways, April, I had my first surgery. 3 weeks later, I went to the emergency room, had a emergency surgery in the same area. And ever since then, things have just kind of been shit, for lack of a better word. And I did get better for some time, so my wound never healed. It still has never healed, and it's in a bad place. So that's been a problem. Things got pretty good in the summer, and I wasn't in much pain. I was feeling very hopeful that I would get better, but then things started to get bad again. So I started feeling very sick. My joints hurt, my stomach hurt all the time. I had soft stools. I won't go into too much detail on this channel, but I've had a lot of sick days. Like, I look sick, I feel sick. There may have been videos where you have seen me feeling like looking down or really pale. I've had like a mouth condition, which maybe people have noticed, but thankfully nobody has said anything. But I've had like a rash on my face. I'll get like mouth sores, acid reflux. All these symptoms were happening to me. And I got some like tests done at the holistic doctor, and they found high levels of CRP, high levels of calprotectin in my stool, and I needed to get a colonoscopy. So I had my colonoscopy in September. By October, I was officially diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And that's when, things started to really change for me. So that was like the end. I had done like 3 interviews, and I didn't get any of those jobs, but I had stopped applying for some time for this job change just because I was trying to get my medication since October 5th. They had submitted my medication, Humira, and it kept getting rejected. It was appealed twice, and they finally approved it literally 2 days ago. However, last week I found out that I also have Lyme disease markers, meaning I need to get treated for Lyme disease. So that's what's currently happening. I had a bite last year. I had like the rash, I had a fever, swollen lymph nodes. I went to the doctor for this, and I was on like 10 days of antibiotics, and they did the blood test. It came out negative, but now it's showing that it looks like I do have Lyme disease, which is very unfortunate because this may have been what caused the Crohn's disease, or I don't know. It's all just a mess, and it all just really frustrates me and pisses me off, but here we are. I can't really do anything about it. So I'm on antibiotics for at least a month, plus 2 grams of Rocephin IV antibiotics every week for 4 weeks. I've done 1 week, so 3 weeks still. Now, with that being said, I cannot start my medication with an active infection of Lyme disease, so I have to wait until I finish this treatment for Lyme, and then I can go on the Humira. I'm not asking for any advice on like what medication to take or not to take. I have done a lot of thinking about going on Humira or not, and I am going to be going forward with it because I have a wound, a fistula to be exact. And yeah, I'm not going to go into detail too much with that, but I have done a lot of research on this, and I am okay with moving forward. I'm also on other medication that is not covered by insurance, but it's not that expensive. That's what I've been on for now. And yeah, so that's kind of a rough breakdown of my health. There's been a lot of things. It's been really stressful. This has just been really hard for me. So what's so frustrating about it is, yeah, it just feels like it's disrupting my life a lot. I'm in pain like constantly, and things have gotten better since I started these antibiotics and such, but I'm now afraid to shift careers because I don't want to go into a job that's going to like really stress me out, because stress is really bad for Crohn's disease. I don't want to go into a job that's not flexible, where if I need to go to an appointment, if I can't go to it, that's a problem for me. And I'm also scared to like have to have so many appointments when I first start a job. I don't want to lose this health insurance because it's really good. And my medication just got approved after over a month of fighting this. To clarify, my health insurance is separate from my prescription coverage. So the health insurance is really good, but the prescription side, this has been a tough battle to get them to approve it. It is a really expensive medication, but because it was just approved, now I'm like, oh my God, if I need to switch and I start this medication, it's gonna take them a month at least to get it to be approved by this new insurance company. So that makes me wanna like not switch careers, and just having the flexibility of like how my work is. Like I don't have to work 8 hours every single day. You know, I can do my work and kind of finish. I really appreciate that. I would rather work remote, which I do not work remote, but I think the trade-off of everything honestly is okay. And I love like my coworkers and stuff, so I do like to see them. Yeah, so to sum that part all up, I don't know what I want to do. I don't think I want to give up on Salesforce yet, because there is a lot of earning potential there, and I think it would help me to, one, I just like the challenge of it. I do like learning something different. It has been exciting. I also know that I can make more money in Salesforce, and it will help to speed up my process of financial independence. I also would probably get better benefits at a different company. The thing is that if I were to get a permanent position at my current job, the benefits would be phenomenal. So it's either I pursue Salesforce and go that route, or I can really work hard to get a full-time position at like a permanent position at my current job and get all those benefits and just like suck it up. Yeah, so it's just been really frustrating to deal with all of this, and there's a lot of things to look at, which is kind of why everything has taken longer. So when I purchased this program back in March, I was like, I'm gonna get this job, it's gonna change my life, it's gonna be 6 months, 8 months, whatever. But then obviously all this shit happened, and it's not working out that way. So I did want to make a video addressing this because I feel like it doesn't matter, honestly. Like, I know truly, like, nobody cares that much about what career change I'm trying to do or what the program was. But I just wanted to explain, like, this is why nothing has happened yet, because I really thought by this point I would, like, be in a different job. The program does really work. Like, there's people in it who get a job within 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, whatever the case may be, and make a pretty significant salary. So I know it works, but just the distraction of everything has made it a lot more difficult for me, and the journey has been harder for me. Obviously, I failed the exam a couple of times, so that was discouraging and upsetting, and I don't know. I don't know what to do, I guess. But right now I'm just chilling and having to go with the flow of staying at my current job, making sure I prioritize my health, to be honest, because that is the first thing, and my current career is kind of set up to allow me to do that. So I'm not completely shutting down the option of Salesforce, becoming a Salesforce admin, but I don't know right now. The other thing I wanted to explain with that is, like, why well, first of all, obviously my health costs went up because of all these health issues. Insurance covers a lot of it, but I choose to do a lot of things that are holistic, like visiting a holistic doctor, going to acupuncture and cupping and such. All of those things are very, very expensive, so that's why that category has been very high. I also have to take, like, I've been trying a lot of things. Like, a doctor will tell me to try this different type of supplement or vitamin, and then I have to get a lot of prescriptions too. So it does get very expensive between the medication as well. So I'm hoping by the new year my health expenses will be lower, especially once I start my actual Crohn's medication, and I can just, I think it's like $5 a month after that, which would be great. And as I've said, this year has been really hard for me. So the reason I started spending more in the personal category is because of this. I honestly haven't really felt like myself for a while now, and I don't know when myself will come back. I guess this is like my new normal, as much as I hate to say that, but I just have to adjust to things because it's not something I'm okay with yet. I've definitely done a little bit more emotional shopping, or kind of just like putting a blind eye to the reality of my money. And not that I've gone crazy shopping, you know, you guys can see what I spend. I'm not lying about any of it. It's just like, when I was doing that, I just remember thinking like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't care. I'm just going to go shopping. Like, none of this matters. I'm just going to go shopping. Like, I wasn't myself. I wasn't thinking in my like frugal, savvy financial ways. Like, I just, in that moment, wanted to feel better because my stomach hurt or my body hurt, like everything hurt. So I'm like, I deserve this. I should go buy some clothes. Literally, I'd be like, F it, like, I want it, I'm just gonna buy it. And that was just the mentality I was in because of my emotions, honestly. So yeah, I have done some emotional shopping. I don't think it's the right thing to do per se, and I am trying to work on that. Like, I've like addressed that, you know, like, I'm aware that I'm doing that. It's just, I did want to explain why I was spending more and not really caring. I guess it's just like, I'm spending all this money on my health, like I deserve to buy it for myself too. Just like a different mindset when it came to everything because of these health concerns, and just it's really shifted my perspective on life. And yeah, I just am more of a negative person now, to be honest, and it's just gonna take time to change that. The other thing I wanted to mention and just give an update on is my dog. I might get emotional for this. If you've been watching me, you know that back in June, one of my dogs had surgery. Her name is Haley, and she had a surgery. We paid a couple $1,000 for it. That was, you know, I've been spending a lot of money on her over the last few months because of her health issues. So she was good after June for a couple of months, and then things got bad again. We don't know. We still don't know what the problem was. So even after doing all this testing, we tried everything we could, and unfortunately, we did have to put her to sleep. Yeah, so October 23rd is when we did that. So it was a few weeks ago. Not fun. It's never fun. That's always like the worst part of owning a pet. So yeah, it was just really upsetting, and it's still upsetting to like the timing of everything, to have to be going through all of this, and then to have one of my dogs dying, and like, you can't find out what the problem is, and then for her to actually die, yeah, it sucks. Like this year sucks. So while I do obviously greatly care about my finances, it's kind of just, there was a time where I just didn't care, you know? It's just one of those things where it's like, it's not the least of my concern, but it's like, it's not that important compared to everything else. And I'm just, yeah, that's just life right now. So that's an update on her. There's nothing really else to add to that, but that's, yeah, I haven't addressed it yet. So thank you to everybody who did send like well wishes to my dog. It's always the most difficult part of owning a pet, and it's never fun. So yeah. Speaking of, I'm thinking about getting health insurance for my 2 other dogs, and if you have any recommendations or if you think it's worth it, then please comment down below who you go with and like any examples maybe that you have of vet bills. My 2 dogs are just like mixed breed, they're rescue breed, no current health problems, so I'm thinking about starting some pet insurance for them, but would definitely need to do more research. Okay, so anywho, that kind of just explains everything that's been happening. My career change, why I may look or act a certain way in my videos, because I honestly don't feel great. Why my health expenses have been so high. Yeah, that's a basic update. I think I've covered everything. Those are the main areas I wanted to cover. I have ups and downs of like feeling hopeful and positive. But to be honest, right now, it's just hard. Going through this shit is really fucking hard. Excuse my language. It's the reality of it. And I empathize with anybody who's gone through health issues. It is not fun. And just to be hit with like more and more things throughout the year has been really discouraging. My debt savings may not be high over the next couple of months because I have so much to pay for. And that's okay. I really want to prioritize my emergency fund, which is like, I would think is pretty obvious, like why I want to do that. And I really need to get to that 6,000, but it's just been hard to do that when I have to pull from it, because I did have to pull from it again this month. But hopefully I will still reach that 6,000 by the end of the year because, yeah, I need that before anything else. So we'll see what happens. I really hope things get better. They have to get better, I guess. That's what I just keep telling myself, because they just have to. I can't live like this. So, yeah, I'm not looking for any sympathy or anything. I just wanted to share and explain what's been going on. And now we can go ahead and get into the Q&A. So like I said, I had asked this a few weeks ago on Instagram, like any financial questions. Marissa Fink 12, how do you budget for your vacation / how far in advance do you start saving for vacation? So I never really planned out a full-on vacation. It's kind of not last minute, but almost. It's like, oh, I'm going to be going next month and we're just doing it. So I always save in my sinking funds for travel. I don't do much. I think it's 50 a month or 75 a month. And that's just what I do. And if something comes up, an opportunity to go travel comes up, I will do it even if I don't have the money to buy that. So I would cash flow it in that situation, because to me, travel and experience is worth it. So obviously I wouldn't just be like, oh, let me blow $3,000 on a trip. I'm not going to do that right now. But if it's going to cost me like under $1,000, I'm cool with just going to do it. And even if I don't have that money saved up, obviously I would pull from my sinking funds and use that money, but I don't always have it to cover everything. How far in advance do you start saving for vacation? If I were to do that, and eventually I would like to, you know, once I'm debt free, that would become a lot easier and I could like plan things out. I would break it down so that like once I know when I'm taking the trip, I would need to, like, when you need to buy the flight and book the stuff and all that, and break it down by the months until then and see what I can afford. So does that need to be $100 a month? Does that need to be $200 a month? And go from there. It can be pretty difficult. So I honestly have never really planned for it that extensively though. Christine L3, what will be your budget for the purchase of a house in the next few years? Probably 300,000, but I don't know. I'm really hoping that prices go back down. I'm in Georgia, by the way, closer to Atlanta. And the suburbs of Georgia are quite cheap, but closer towards Atlanta, like where I live, is a lot more expensive, and the houses aren't as nice. Well, they can be very, very nice. They're very beautiful, but they're also like in the millions if that's the case. But then there's like really old houses for 300,000 plus, especially right now. So I would say about 300,000 or like 250 to 300,000. A lot of things would affect this. So like I personally would like to purchase a home under my own name, even if I'm married, honestly. But that's like the thing is, if I had somebody helping me, like if my boyfriend or whatever we may be in the future is going to be living with me, like that changes things a lot too. Could I afford a $300,000 on my own? Probably. The thing is, I need to save up a really big down payment then, like 60,000 plus I would like to save. Just because you guys know I would like to purchase a house the right way and have extra money for decorating exactly how I want it to be. So I think 300,000. She also asked, do you want to get married? If so, how much money would you spend on a wedding? So I will probably get married. I don't know. I have been with my boyfriend for over 4 years now. We talk about this a lot, and we are on the same page. I think we will get married. We do talk about getting married and like wanting to marry each other. However, it's not like urgent whatsoever, and I wouldn't like die, I don't think, if I wasn't married one day. I think being married makes things easier, just when it comes to finances in general. How much money would you spend on a wedding? This too, I would not have a big wedding. I know that. We have discussed a destination wedding, so it probably wouldn't be that much, more so like just the flight, and like I would want it very small and intimate, if anything. Or I probably wouldn't even have like a wedding at all and just get married and have a really nice big honeymoon. But we've discussed a destination wedding, like Hawaii or something, I don't know. And I don't know how much that would cost. I've never looked into it, honestly. I'm not a wedding planning gal just because I don't care about it. Good question though. C Change 26. With student loans in mind, should I consider investing in brokerage or Roth IRA? Fidelity or ... I'm not sure what that says. Fidelity or Vanguard maybe? With student loans in mind. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I would say, I'm assuming with student loans in mind, you mean you need money to pull from. So if that's the case, then I would go with a brokerage account. Like if you want to invest right now to increase your money and then use that money later for your student loans, I would definitely put that in a brokerage account, not your Roth IRA. However, that's not always a good plan because the market goes up and down, and once you need the money, if the market is down, you could potentially lose a lot of it. So I wouldn't even recommend that in the first place. That's not what I'm doing. That's just very high risk. It's not a horrible thing. Otherwise, if you're talking about just investing in general, I would say your Roth IRA first, if you're able to do that. I'm not sure if you said Fidelity or Vanguard or Fidelity or Schwab. I think Fidelity is great as well. I personally use Vanguard, so I vote Vanguard. But if I were to go with anything, it would be between Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab. Probably Fidelity and Vanguard, mostly. I know Fidelity has some things that you can invest in without an expense ratio, which Vanguard does not offer. So that's a pretty big thing. You don't have any fees to pay. So that is something to consider if you're interested in that. Corey Yvette asked, do you regret some of the choices you made that put you in debt? And they said, I know I do. Yes, I do. Let me think. Do I regret it? I wouldn't say I regret it. Like, I know some people say like, I don't regret anything, but I don't really know. Like to me, it's like every decision I've made has led me up to this point and has almost worked in my favor because I've created more opportunity from it, and I've learned so much from it. Yeah, I don't know that I regret it. Like if I could go, I guess I would say I regret it, because if you asked me like if you could go back and change anything, would you? I would say yes, I would change a lot of things, but that's also having the knowledge that I have now. And I didn't have that knowledge then, obviously, because I wouldn't have made those choices. So I can't say I really regret it. as that person, because that's the choices that I made then. So I don't think I did anything too major. I would say the main thing that I regret is like not saving money as a teenager and into my early 20s, because I feel like I could have been a lot further if I did save some money, even if it was like 5% of my income and just like kept it there, or had a Roth IRA. I probably wouldn't have taken out so much student loans. Definitely my biggest regret is co-signing on a damn car. But I will say I learned a lot from that, and it taught me a great lesson to never ever do that again. So, hey, maybe that was worth it, because it could have been a lot worse. I am Kurubakar, I can't see the full name, asked living expenses as single in your city. So I live in a city outside of Atlanta. I don't want to give it away just because it's kind of small. I mean, y'all see what I pay for my living expenses. So my rent is almost $1,400. With everything else, it's like $1,600. I actually have a pretty good rate because I moved in February, and that was a few years ago when rent prices were a little bit lower. And I live in a luxury apartment. So my room actually, this exact floor layout actually goes for over $1,800 now. So yeah, I got a really good deal, and that's why I continue to live here too, because I love it here. It's like a luxury apartment. It has a lot of amenities, and it is amazing. Great location too. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this. Living expenses as single in your city. It's expensive, I guess, but not that expensive because of how I moved. In Atlanta, it's going to be a little bit more. Like living on your own would be probably over $2,000 in the city to get like a nice high rise, which I guess isn't too bad compared to other cities. But yeah, I honestly, I don't know how to answer this question. So you guys see my expenses. My monthly expenses outside of my savings and my debt is usually like $3,000 a month. Magnolia Yanaj asked, any moving out advice / things you wish you knew? I think I already kind of have a video on this, but I'm going to be filming a video on like tips for first-time renters. But as far as moving out, I moved out of my parents' house when I was 19. Granted, I did move in with my sister, but I was on my own by 19. Save your money. That's my main advice to you would be to save your money, and don't buy things unless you can afford them. Things you wish you knew. If you're renting, always negotiate. Always ask questions. Always get everything in writing. Things you wish you knew. I can't think of anything like that I wish I knew, because honestly, moving on my own into this apartment has been fine. Like nothing. They take care of anything. If like something breaks, which nothing has, thank goodness, like they'll take care of it. The maintenance staff here will. If I need the filter changed on the fridge, I don't pay for that. They do it. So it's like, it's very simple to live on my own, especially in an apartment. If I had a house on my own, I don't know. I had a house with my sister, but like she handled a lot of it, or like we handled it together in some way. You just need money. Like you need money and to be confident in living alone. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer. She also asked, if a new credit card / company fails and closes the account, does it hurt your credit score? Yes, I would imagine so. I'm not sure. I would not go with like a new credit card or company. I would be careful with that. And yes, if your account closes, it would probably lower your credit score, because it adjusts your it depends on when you took it out, but it adjusts your credit history. So those are all the questions that I got. If you have any more, feel free to leave them down below. I'll write them down and save it for another video. I know I don't do, I've never done a Q&A on this channel, I don't think, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I know this video was super long, so if you're still with me, thank you. I will put little chapters down below in case. That's my update. If you have any specific questions about anything going on, feel free to ask. I am an open book, as y'all know, so I'm cool with talking about everything. But yeah, I talk about this a lot on my other channel too, so you can see me be an emotional wreck on that channel if you'd like to. I prefer to like keep this channel more professional and just like finances, but I figured that it would make sense for me to film this so everything else makes sense. But Thank you all for being here for me. Thank you for supporting me, watching my videos. It really helps me a ton. You honestly have no freaking clue. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.